We have been mentally divorced more times than we can count.
It's cheaper that way.
It's cheaper. And that's... You're listening to the Aisle Files, where we play relationship detectives, gathering clues from the aisle and beyond, where we uncover the secrets of love. I'm Leslie.
And I'm Bill.
And we today are cracking open a case from our own wedding 36 years ago. I know.
Antique.
I know. Can you believe it's been that long? Oh, the wedding photo disaster. We missed every clue. And I think that actually turned into us photographing 1,500 weddings.
It did. It definitely spawned a career.
It started with the wedding planning.
Right.
Which
I
I've been
was
more...
not really too involved in that, truthfully.
You weren't.
No, you wouldn't let me.
Was it really that I wouldn't let you? Do you think?
No, I worked a lot.
Oh, yes.
And I worked at night, and that's
At
when you
Service
did most.
Merchandise.
That's when you did most of your meetings and vendor meetings and so forth.
Right.
So
the one thing that I was tasked with was finding a wedding photographer. And I knew nothing about it.
True.
Remember? And so I decided I was going to look around and find a couple choices, meet with them,
Yes.
and decide. And there is where...
Things get interesting.
Yeah. So I met with two photographers. One I found downtown Melbourne,
Yes.
Florida. We lived on the beach side. And there was a studio, and the photographer had National Geographic covers
Yes.
and photos that were published of hummingbirds.
Yes.
You remember walking in there and seeing that?
Pictures were for the birds. Yes. But I spoke too soon.
Well, they were of birds. And I went ahead and I think that I got enamored from, wow,
The awards.
a cover of National Geographic.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, and he does weddings. But I went ahead and made an appointment with him. And do you remember me telling you when I came home from that meeting how weird it was?
It was a strange meeting, really.
There were dogs. I wasn't invited into his house, but I met him on his porch, and it's in Florida, and it was kind of hot.
Yeah.
And he had these two big dogs, and they were jumping all over me, which I love dogs. It didn't bother me at all. But he brought out this little proof album, this little book, and they were just little 3.5 by 5s. And
It made it hard to see how bad it was.
right? And I did. You are absolutely right.
I blew it. I gave it away again.
I met with him and looked at the pictures and then left and said I would think about it. He had a package that he gave me. And one thing that was really great about the package was there was no time limit, unlimited time on the wedding day.
Yes.
And that kind of, I don't know, I thought that was a good thing.
I think you thought that was the most important thing, actually.
It ended up being that way.
Mhm.
You're right.
Yes.
But at the time, I didn't really know that wasn't what everyone did. So I met with this other gentleman,
Yes.
and you were at work, and it was
Yes.
at night.
And he
And-
was the consummate professional.
Yeah.
One of the bigger names in our area
He
in wedding
was.
photography. So
You could tell he was a professional. His work was beautiful.
Mm.
And so I made an appointment where he was going to come to our apartment at night. And attractive gentleman, and I was a young woman.
what are you
and
saying?
Never once did I feel uncomfortable. He made me feel so comfortable.
Right.
Got out his work, placed it on the table. I was enamored with the quality of his work. Nothing like I had just met with. However,
Makes what happened
Right.
after so much more puzzling.
and I think you're right. I think I just thought I was an intelligent person, and I was just going to make the best decision, both financially and just in general, a good decision.
Right.
So I looked at his package, and his package had a limit of time, 8 hours.
Which we now know is pretty good, pretty normal,
Probably our average package.
I'd say.
But then I didn't know. So I put the two packages together, told both of them I would think about it. I think I might have shown you. I showed my parents. Basically, look, this package has this and this package has that. Never once did anyone talk about, but whose work did you like better? Who did you feel comfortable with? All those things.
Sure.
Never once. It was all about what was in the package. And I think the guy on the porch told me that it came with an 11 by 14 as well.
An
So I was
enormous
like, oh,
print.
well,
a
there
print
you
of
go.
enormous magnitude.
It's true. So more is better.
Right. Well,
That's
no.
what I thought.
No.
More is
At
better.
least not in this case.
So I picked more.
Yes.
And never once was concerned about it, didn't think about it until the wedding day. And
This was filmed, by the way.
Correct.
So because that's important, because it wasn't spray and pray days.
Spray and pray. You're right.
Economical.
And yes, finite. You put a roll of film in, you knew. He came to our house and I was with my mom and dad in this beautiful bathroom. It was gorgeous. And I had to guide this man how to take photos. I wasn't a photographer, but I was like, can you get a picture of my mom in the mirror and getting me ready? And he would just look at me like, okay. Like it's almost like he had a checklist in his head.
I think he did.
And I think he was just going to take, well, what we now know was a few photos during the wedding day.
Yeah. He might have hit maybe 10 photos an hour.
Maybe.
I'm being generous here, folks.
Yes, you are. So anyway, by the time we got to the church and I went into the getting ready room with all my bridesmaids and we were sort of doing all the fun things.
Yes.
The photographer disappeared for a little while, very short time. And what was he doing?
Well, he was telling me that he didn't want an accidental encounter between the two of us because we weren't seeing each other beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
So I was put in a closet, a storage closet at the back of the church. It's so small, there's nowhere to sit. There's no chairs.
Yeah.
There's church paraphernalia, linens, crosses, candles, me, no air conditioning duct because it's a storage closet. It's Florida in September. I'm in a black tux. This isn't so much fun anymore. But I did find a small black and white television, and I did my best to watch the Notre Dame Michigan football game that day.
Is that what game
with
it
a
was?
super grainy picture. And I'm a very literal person. If you tell me don't come out, I'm not coming out. But even I started to get a little nervous because I was in there for so long that my best man came running to the door and opened up the door, and his eyes were huge. And he said, hurry up, follow me. You're about to get married. I missed everything.
So he did take a few pictures before he sequestered you in the closet.
Yes.
Of the groomsmen.
Right.
For maybe 10 minutes or something.
Yeah. He made no attempt to make me feel comfortable. And these are all things that were bad at the time, but they were good because they shaped how I think and how I photograph. Most of the photographs, I look like I'm passing a kidney stone. It's just a painful experience.
And I actually have so many times. So I think when he left me, he must have gone and done a few photos of the groomsmen. And you.
And again, remember, a few.
Correct. And so, because he wasn't gone very long, and then he came
Right.
back, and all I know is he said, okay, you won't run into him. So
Boy, he meant it.
I never thought another thing of it. And so he took a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of pictures, but a lot of time taking
Right.
bridesmaids pictures and my mom and dad and sisters and all that. When that photo shoot was over, we went back and got ready for the wedding, and we were lining up, and I never once, no one ever looked for you, I guess, because I wouldn't. Why?
Why would you
wasn't
look for the
supposed to
groom?
see you.
Why would you look for the
Because
groom?
I wasn't supposed to see you. So it never dawned on me. You were in the witness protection program.
I was in the witness, deep undercover.
Deep in there. They
Yes.
put you in.
And again,
and this
it's
was
really stiflingly hot in there, and I'm nervous.
And you got
I
put
don't
in a-
like to be photographed. I'm
Got put in
new
a
to
closet.
Florida, and I have like 12 people at this 200-person wedding. So I'm nervous, and I'm sweating, and it's
Poor baby.
it was a tough
So-
tough moment.
After the sequestered
Yes.
groom in the room, Kyle went and grabbed you and saved the day
Yes.
because no one knew where you were. But I didn't know no one knew you. I wouldn't know where you were.
I didn't know where I was.
I wasn't supposed to see you. So anyway, we do our wedding, and it was beautiful.
It was a great wedding.
It was
It
great.
was beautiful.
And then
Pretty church.
beautiful.
It was.
I was on the biggest high of my life. It was just romantic, gorgeous. But the photography was much more important than we ever imagined.
Yes.
We went on our honeymoon, and
Yes.
we just had the time of our lives. It
Yeah.
was magical.
Beautiful.
We came back, and as soon as we got picked up by family and taken to the house, they had a little welcome back party. And our wedding proof album was back, which was a good thing. It was really quick.
And there was the proof.
And so when I
Oh.
started looking at the pictures, I was on this high, like, oh my gosh, this is the best, oh my God, we have the photos already. It was amazing until I started looking at the photos. And the very first thing I saw or noticed was you looked miserable
Well,
in the photos.
I'm not
And
the
now I
biggest
know
fan of
why.
being photographed. It was
I
kind of
told
hot.
him that. I told the
He
photographer
did nothing
all
to.
of those
He
things.
did another lesson learned. He made zero. I'm not even sure he directly spoke to me, other than telling me stay in the closet. The entire day made zero attempt to make me feel comfortable.
Do not come out.
I could still be in the closet.
You-
I mean,
you
no one
could
was going to
be.
get me.
Oh, honey.
Mm.
After that, and I didn't want to, our family was there and we were celebrating
Oh, yeah.
and wanting to know how our honeymoon was and just hearing the stories of the parties they had after we left with the
Yeah,
family.
sure.
They all had a blast when we were on our honeymoon. And so it wasn't a downer.
No.
I just was putting that in a category of I'll look at that later. And I had a knot in my stomach because I didn't want to be ungrateful, but I did know that the photographs looked nothing like I had imagined in my head, like
Right.
I'd seen by that really
Well, when you're
talented
when you're
photographer.
so economical in the number of photos that you take, you've got to put photos in that don't have the greatest expression or emotion because that's all you took.
Yeah.
And that's what we got.
Yeah. He took 72 photos. See, this is what's so crazy to think about.
How long
now.
was he with us?
He was
part
there
of
for
that?
8.5 hours. So
What
again,
was that extra half an hour? How about
it was
that?
an extra half. And I didn't know at the time that was the average time, which is why the other photographer offered that. But I didn't think enough to ask those questions. So after the wedding, I was on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
No bride and groom were ever going to have these terrible wedding photos. If I had anything to say about it, I researched endlessly of what I did wrong because I didn't understand it. I now understand it clearly, but I didn't.
Sure.
So I started my own business.
You did.
People thought I was crazy.
I
They
did.
thought I was crazy.
I
You
did. I was I'm more conservative, I would say. You
Yes.
took a huge leap of faith and I said, okay, let's see how this goes. And she was incredibly busy right from the get-go.
I mean, every weekend I had booked weddings with multiple weddings every weekend.
Yeah, we should explain that. We were working in Central Florida on the coast, and there were a limited number of venues. So what that meant was the competition was so intense that weddings started on Thursday nights, and you would have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And oftentimes, a few years before I joined the business, Leslie would work all 4 days, many times.
So I had probably done a couple hundred weddings, maybe a little less than that, when life threw us a curveball.
Yes, indeed.
It's kind of sad, but again, everything that happens, what comes from it can be more beautiful than you can imagine. So we were pregnant with our second child. Tyler was 2 at the time.
Yes.
And I miscarried. It was like on a Wednesday. So I had a wedding on Friday Friday and Saturday.
Right.
And I was physically and emotionally not really at the top of my game. And that's when you decided
I did.
to call in.
I
to be with
assisted.
me.
This was before I was actually involved in the
Yeah,
business.
You had never.
But here's what happened. I was working in an environment that was pressure-packed, not always fun and enjoyable. And I'm exposed to this environment where everybody's having a great time, love, joy. And I remember saying to Leslie, this is the exact opposite of what I'm experiencing at work. And boy, it's a feeling that it just gets a hook in you. And you want to be a part of that.
Were my
The
support.
seed was planted.
Yeah, my support. You came just to really support me.
I did. And for the free food. So what do you think of that? I'm just kidding.
But the bride, and I had shared this with you, she was pregnant, shared that with me when she booked me, and we had the same due date. She was bonded with me in that way.
Right.
And of course, I didn't call her on Wednesday or Thursday and tell her what had just happened. But I was on adrenaline. You don't get to call in sick on a wedding day when you're a wedding photographer. So I learned that. So did you. I think I walked in the getting ready room and there the bride saw me and all her girls were there. And she's like, Leslie, it's my wedding photographer. She's so awesome. Her and I are both pregnant with the same due date.
Yikes.
Everyone's just like, oh, that's so amazing. Of course,
Mm.
it's really difficult. So I was navigating bride first, couple first. It's not about me, it's about them. And I was able to just rise above all of my personal issues and just focus on the love that was there,
Right.
which has been kind of the underpinning of what we've done since then.
I think so.
It is so electric
It is.
to be involved in a wedding day over and over again. But that one was my jump start. That one was like, wow,
Right.
your life doesn't, matter right now. Theirs does.
Right.
I never told her. I didn't want to be a downer on her wedding
No,
day.
no.
But I remember one thing. I remember at the reception, there were a couple of my future couples that I had already booked that were friends with the bride. And they came up to you and I, and they were like, I'm so glad you're our photographer. We've been watching you. You have the most amount of energy. You're so positive. You've been so much fun. And I was thinking, because
Well,
I've been struggling to even,
Right.
I feel like the smiles were forced, but not really. I guess not really.
no, I guess
You
guess
saw
not.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that was a great day.
it really was.
Yeah.
It helped us both get over, get through that, celebrating someone else.
Right.
Yeah, it was really great. And then that is what brought you into
It is.
Divine Images.
Yes.
Yeah. Here we are, 1,500 weddings later. We've never looked back.
No.
Every wedding we learned something new.
Definitely.
Never say
Definitely.
we've seen it all.
Never see something new at every
Mhm.
wedding.
I think that is helpful. Maybe for someone who's going to be tuning into this weekly podcast.
Right.
We will be talking about stories from other weddings.
We will.
And so that's how it began,
It is.
with us
that
working together.
Yes. So the diamond in the rough was the experience. The photography experience was dismal, but it planted a seed in Leslie, and then something else tragic happened, brought me into the wedding business just to assist, and I was hooked. Because I was working in an environment that was pressure packed, and you were only appreciated if you were a super performer.
And you
and I
actually
was,
were.
but
It still is a different environment, and we've never ever thought about calling it quits. I mean, we have.
well, we have. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's true. No, we are going to talk about that because we joke about it, but
We do.
it is true. Like people say, "Oh, you have the perfect marriage. You found you're so lucky." That's what people always say. Oh, you're so lucky. You found the right guy.
Yes, you are.
I'm like, I am. But I hesitate to accept that luck and not at least
What's work?
give someone another perspective,
Sure.
because yes, we knew we loved each other, and if you haven't heard the story, go watch the episode case file
001.
about how we met and then all of that.
Yes.
But the perspective was at first I couldn't stand him, and then I fell in love, and then everybody thinks that's the end. That's it. You get married and you're good to go. And we are unpacking these case files. We're going to tell a really poignant story in my career and in my life of how forgiveness and compassion
Yes.
really
that could
plays.
have taken a nasty turn.
It really could have. So case file 3 is going to be called The Veil Story.
Ooh, yes.
And
the
I'll tell
best
you what,
story.
it is the biggest, most horrific mistake I ever made. I'm sure there's worse things I could have done, but in my mind, it was the worst thing
Ooh, this is
that I could have ever
Yes.
done. And what came from that is a lesson that it's
grace.
why I still continue to love and adore weddings, because people have an opportunity to show love on a wedding day in so many ways. And I was gifted that. And this
Yes.
couple that we're going to talk about, still married 16 years later.
Yes, it's true. 16 years
yeah.
of wedded bliss.
And we have 36 years.
We do.
And like I was going to say before, we have been mentally divorced more times than we can count.
It's cheaper that way.
It's cheaper. And I hope that doesn't sound shocking.
No, it's
Because
life. It's reality.
you get upset and you think, oh, it's over. I'm done. I can't even, because you can't communicate. And yet when you can look at pictures, I think our couples have a higher success rate because they can look at the wedding photos and they can remember what it felt like,
Sure.
how much love they felt at the time. It's not just stand here and do this, it's real storytelling images.
Yes.
And even though we didn't have that, we have the bonus of being able to go to weddings and see commitments,
Yes.
and see recommitments, and see anniversary dances and all of that happen during a wedding day. Do you think we should close this case file?
I think we should close this case file.
We want your stories.
Yes, your stories are better than our stories.
Yes, they could be. So we want to hear any questions you have or any stories that you maybe want a little different perspective, the relationship detectives, because we're not here to teach you anything.
No.
We're not here to counsel your marriage or
Nope.
counsel your relationship or even give you wedding planning advice. But what we can do is say, this is what we've observed in this situation, and how there's not one indicator that is like, oh, that's a done deal. But most of the time, I'm like, I see on Facebook or see in social media, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary,
True.
and we photographed their wedding. I mean, it's beyond amazing.
Yes.
And we still stay in touch with so many, hundreds of couples that we've continued
Yeah.
to
A lot
do
of
their...
Florida couples.
Correct.
Yes.
And we just have done their portraits of family portraits,
Family,
babies,
children.
all of that. And we even got a call from a bride and groom who didn't have kids at the time, wanting us to do their daughter's wedding.
It's true.
That was a big wow moment. Like, we're doing your daughter's wedding. Stick around.
Stick around.
You might just find
That I'm really funny.
that he's really funny.